I didn't have the intelligence that I do now to reach up there and snap it off.
What?
But it was a problem. And I got it. It wasn't going well, and I was basically...
Sorry.
Right.
Detail. Have you snapped off your shit before?
Mine's got like a pube in it. Oh, I've got my same microphone back because it's got what looks like one of my beard hairs. Oh, it could be one of your mustache hairs. Or is it one of mine? Let's see if it fits.
Oh.
That's yours. Smells.
Hey. I don't smell.
I'd love that if they started doing that in detective shows. Just, I found a hair. Oh, I lost the hair.
Smells like the killer.
For the record, I wasn't a big fan of doing this idea.
Why?
Because I thought we were considerably more highbrow.
I don't think we are.
Not considerably more. I was hoping for higher brow.
Are we highbrow?
No, not high. Just marginally higher than shit. That's like there's willies and shit, and then there's like intellectual conversation right at the top.
Yeah.
And here's willies and shit, and we're like, there. That's where I thought we were. But today we're taking a little venture down south, as it were.
Into the butthole.
Yeah.
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 I don't think we are highbrow.
I wasn't trying to be highbrow. Just...
But we talk about shitting all the time, so surely we're already into that.
Where does that even come from, highbrow? It's weird, isn't it? Highbrow.
From that? Oh! I think that's where it comes from.
So if we talk about shit, but we do this...
We're having a highbrow conversation. No. So I think I might be completely wrong. I think highbrow does come from, like, when you say something off, a bit blue, and then someone goes, oh.
But that's the opposite, though, isn't it?
My impression there was just a white British woman. How dare you? Like, that's why, I think that's my assumption. I'm probably completely wrong.
But that sounds the reverse, though, because, like, is it like highbrow, like someone goes, oh, here's a great fact, and they go, oh, that's really interesting, rather than, oh, I took a big shit earlier, oh, that's disgusting, they go low. I bet it's nothing to do with eyebrows.
Maybe that's what it is. No, it must be to do with eyebrows, because it's got the word brow in it.
Is there another time that brow is used? The brow of a hill? Is that a thing?
What?
Like, the brow of a hill?
Is that, I don't know, is that a word?
If you can't, I hope so. I wasn't going to sound more lowbrow than I was aiming for. I thought when you go up a brow of a hill. So if you can't see over the other side of the hill, that would be going over the brow of the hill, right?
You're saying right. I have no fucking idea.
Correct.
I don't know. I have no knowledge of hills.
I think I can see where the lowbrow element's coming from.
Yeah, from your lack of knowledge, you stupid cunt.
My lack of knowledge? At least I'm trying to be knowledgeable.
Yeah, but I bring up knowledge that I know.
See, I don't know anything.
You just guess. That could be completely wrong.
I'm only 90% certain of the things I'm most certain about.
Yes,
Maybe
I am. I'm all the same. I think I do that a lot where I think I'm right, but I might not be.
Like, how old are you? And I'm like, 32? And then I have to, like, work it out.
Maybe?
Basically dead. Somewhere near
Maybe
there?
you should just start saying I'm 32 conceptually.
I'm not even certain what my name is when people ask it. Like, if someone was to say, oh, what's your name? I'm going to give one of two options. So I don't even know which one I'm going to give to someone. Like, sometimes I'll say Kier, and sometimes I'll say Kieran. It depends how arsed I am having to explain Kier. That's usually what it is. Because apparently up here, no one knows that names can get shortened. Apparently.
What?
The rest of the sentence can all be shortened down as much as you like, but the name, don't do that.
What are you on about?
Because I'll say my name's Kier, and people will be like, whoa, that's a really unusual name. Well, it's just the first half of Kieran. It's I thought it was a common abbreviation. I've heard it my whole life, so I just assumed other people had.
I'd never met a Kier till I met you. I've known a few Kierans, and they just go by Kieran.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Oh, fuck those guys.
Maybe you are a bit. You're just different.
Maybe.
You're just unique.
So, we put out a lovely little message asking people to send in the stories of when they... What was it? Weird
I threw up a little bit.
It's not a good start. We're talking about poo.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's not ideal that your stomach is that weak.
No, it was like, I think I drank that coffee too quick, and it's just, I did a little burp, and then a little bit of liquid just follows through.
A little gargle.
Yeah. It just tasted like coffee with a bit of bile, like a tiny bit of bile.
Yeah, like a kick.
Yeah, you can just take it straight back down. It's not like you have to spit it out or anything.
It's weird that people do want to spit that out. Even if I get lumps come up, I want to swallow them down. What, you go, and then you go, get rid of the...
Well, if there's lumps, I'm probably vomiting.
Nah, sometimes you get a little regurgitation.
Do you?
Well, okay. I do. Right?
No, I don't. I don't regurgitate my food, no. I throw up sometimes. Yeah. But I don't just like burp and then like... Well, I did just then, but that was just a bit of liquid.
I think when I was younger, I used to try and nurse ill birds to health. And so I'd regurgitate my food into their mouths to keep them alive. Just... I'm not sucking this tick.
That's what it sounded like.
It's a little swallow.
I mean, a bird's head and neck is quite phallic, so with a sharp end, though, oof, that'd be horrible at deep throat.
Yeah, like when you pull the giblets out of a turkey and you've got that solid dildo that comes out of it.
What?
You never pulled the inside of a bird out?
No, can't say I have.
They come in a little bag. Like you get a turkey, and then you reach deep into the back cavity of it, and then there's usually a little bag inside that. And you pull that out, and it has the giblets in it.
In a bag?
Yes, inside a bag, yeah.
Flesh bag or like...
No.
Like, no, that's what I meant. Is it a natural bag or is it a plastic bag?
No, like a plastic...
They put a plastic bag inside the turkey?
Yeah, it's dead. You're about to eat it.
What for, though?
So that the giblets don't touch the inside of the bird where they once were touching
the inside of the bird. That's what I'm confused at. Like, why?
Well, that would be disgusting, wouldn't it? If you had dead parts of the animal touching the dead parts of the animal.
That's what I'm confused about. Why did they put it in a plastic bag?
I don't know. Probably because it's easier to pull a bag out. Like if I was going to
but if it was inside, you just get the turkey and go...
They don't come out like that. You have to proper glove it up. You have to get deep in that turkey.
But you wouldn't know because you only ever pulled out plastic bags full of giblets.
Yeah, but if I was going to put giblets up my ass, I'd put them up there in a bag so I could just retrieve the whole bag of them. It's a collection of things. Like, if I had a bag of marbles and I'm going to shove these up my ass, I'm not going to do them one by one.
Why not?
Because if I could use a bag and put them one by one, I could go, whoop, pull them all out at once. No lost marbles. The game still goes on the next day.
Yeah, but if you're putting marbles up your ass, isn't it funner to, like, poop them out?
Like a little rabbit.
Yeah.
A glass rabbit. Just dropping little glass marbles.
I think that'd be more fun than just pulling a bag out.
Yeah, maybe. If I was going to pull glass out my ass, it would be in jar form only. Yeah, this is why we're not highbrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see it now. I do see it. Because even though I haven't even started talking about the emails and messages that have come in, we've descended into chaos.
We've descended into putting marbles up our arse and smashing jars in our arse.
And sucking a bird's dick.
Yeah, like you just made a nice little joke about regurgitating food in a bird's mouth.
That was a lovely, nice bit, and then it turned into...
And then you made the sound and instantly it was deep throat.
Yeah, didn't mean to be. I was just trying to act like kindly...
Maybe we are lowbrow.
RSPB, reach out if you need any help.
Who?
That's the people that look after birds, isn't it?
Oh.
I'm 90% sure.
I have no fucking idea. I just thought it was like... Wait, isn't it RSPCA?
That's for animals in general, and then the birds one is RSPB, I think.
What's the PB?
Proper birds.
Oh wait, what's RSPCA? What does RSPCA mean?
Animals at the end.
RSPCA. CA, care animals.
Care? No, I don't know.
RS.
You know what I love about this is when the people are at home watching this and they're like, it stands for this! It stands for this! Because they often tell me.
Yeah.
If I bump into people, they're like, oh, screaming at the TV.
Rasheen does it.
I'm just like, yes, I'm glad you were screaming at the TV. That brings me great joy that I've managed to upset you by just not being able to recall something.
Yeah. And see how we've moved on from RSPCA. We're never going to answer that question.
No.
I don't care.
I'm not even going to Google it. I'm not even going to check it.
Rasheen will just tell me later on, probably.
Yeah, probably. Or someone will tell me. And I'll go, I don't care about what it stands for or birds. Other than the nursing bird, the birds I nurse to health.
You clearly don't care about birds because you're talking about ripping giblets out of a turkey, so...
I do like birds. when they're deep fried.
Oh.
No, I actually do really like birds. Birds are some of my favourite creatures about.
They're good to draw. I've never met a bird I like.
That's sexist. Lowbrow.
No, but genuinely, I've never met a bird that I've been like, because Adam's always into birds. He always talks about his pet birds and stuff. And when we went to that
bird KFC.
No.
The Swallow Centre.
No, it's a word I'm looking for.
I assumed that much. I assumed you weren't going to just go.
Oh, what is it called?
What was it?
Garden centre.
Oh, yeah.
There's a garden centre with a pet shop in it. And we went there and there's a there's a parrot called Elvis in there who's got an Asbor. I'm sure you've heard the story a million times.
Nope.
Have you not heard this?
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
So he's one of those yellow and blue parrots, the classic ones, macaws.
Macaw?
I don't fucking know what they're called. But he's got an Asbor because he used to... I think he apparently used to fly around Bradford and then nick people's windscreen wipers.
What?
Like he used to get on cars and just rip windscreen wipers off and then fuck off. Because he's a cunt. I don't know. Probably, someone probably taught him it once, and then he was like, ha! So he used to just fly around and just do it. And then they caught him and then put him in this thing. But he's got an Asbor because he's a naughty bird.
Like, where are we going to find the home of where this bird lives? Look for really clean windows. Or a massive pile of rubber outside.
Yeah. Loads of windscreen wipers.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know birds could get Asbos.
Yeah, I didn't know they could either. I don't know if it's like just a joke, but it does say on the thing he's got an Asbor. And don't put your fingers through because he's not a nice bird. But every time we go, Adam puts his fingers through and goes, come here. And the bird goes right up to him and he's like, yeah, tickle my neck. And Adam tickles his neck.
The bird says that?
Yeah.
Tickle my neck. Tickle my neck.
No, he goes, tickle my neck.
Tickle my neck, you slag.
Get right in there, you bitch.
I'll be the best bird you ever had.
I'm the bird, you're the fucking human. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to make you my bitch.
Lowbrow again. Well, there you go. See, we descended into lowbrow, yeah.
Yeah.
We made this bird sexual. There was no need for that to happen.
There wasn't. And we did it.
Sake.
Right. Anyway. So, we reached out to the good, kind people.
Little detour
of the audience. What was we put on there? Just weird shit and stories.
Well, we did two. We did one that was.
I said we. Daryl did them.
Yeah,
he took both pictures as well.
Did. No, that was. I'm doing this chronologically here. We made one thing that said we want to do an interactive one where we get you guys, the audience, to tell us things that are possibly humorous. And then we asked for your opinions of what they could be. And there was things like first dates, job interviews. There was some weird ones. There's always some fucking weirdos in there. And then, sorry to insult the audience. And then the most common one was, I think it was like 4 or 5 people asked for poo. like poo stories, worst place you pooed, shitting yourself stories. Like there was people asking.
This isn't our fault.
No,
you're encouraging this.
This is them. They did this.
I didn't want to go lowbrow, but they made this happen.
I'm not going to lie. They're probably doing that because we talk about shitting ourselves quite often.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah.
They're reading us and thinking, that's probably what they want.
They want to talk about poo.
I don't want to talk about poo, but they want us to talk about poo, so let's talk about poo.
Yeah.
So then, that was the clear winner. It was up there. So then we were like, right, pooing yourself. And then we made a post saying, send us your best stories just to do with poo. Funny ones, possibly. I mean, if there's some traumatic ones in there, this is going to be...
My grandma died of dysentery. That's it, the whole email.
Yeah. Yeah. I did get Rasheen to vet these. She got rid of a few that were like, just a bit crap.
I disposed of a baby down a toilet.
Oh, Jesus. That's not poo.
No.
It's a toilet story.
Yeah.
A sad one.
That's the only reason we're not including it. Nope. Boring. We're only talking about poo. But I didn't flush it before I put it in there.
To the people that didn't make the cut, I'm sorry.
Poo harder.
The main... I haven't even read them. Rasheen read them and she said the main problem was they just weren't detailed enough. They weren't long enough. That was the most common theme.
That's not our opinion though, because we haven't read any of them.
That's just my missus.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with us. So
fuck her.
If you got hate mail and stuff,
send it to her.
Straight to her.
Haunted halloumi on Instagram. Abuse her. Say whatever you want. You have my permission and I am the man of the relationship, so.
Links back to that birds thing you said earlier.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So we've got some stories from people about shitting.
Yeah, and then we have to come up with our own, or the stories that we've had in the past.
Do you want to share now? It's a safe space.
I'm struggling to think of times that it's happened. I'm sure that I've had weird pooing times, but my brain's just a bit constipated at the moment.
This is what I should have expected.
Yeah.
Just constant puns. Yeah. You piece of shit.
I'm not going to keep doing them. Constipated could be used in both of those ways, so I don't think that that's necessarily a pun. Mm-hmm. It just is a nice play on words.
Okay.
Highbrow. Weird shitting stories.
Have you got the categories are like, have you shit yourself? And is there a story attached to that? Have you shit somewhere weird? Is that was there a time you shit yourself
outside?
You don't
never shat outside.
Yeah.
No. Always had enough control of my bowels.
Okay.
I've come extremely close to shitting myself. Like stood outside my door struggling to get a key in.
Yeah,
I'm that close.
Well, you go up the stairs and all the way up.
Yeah. And you're not even sat down before it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was dropping one of the kids off at school, which is a euphemism for making a poo, but not what I meant, because I was literally dropping one of the kids off at school.
I don't believe you were.
I didn't say Paul.
But continue.
And it was about a 15-minute walk each way. And before I left the house, I thought, I think I need a shit. But I should be all right because it's only going to be like half hour. And if you hold on to it enough, it just goes back up inside, doesn't it? I don't know how that works. Gravity defying. And then on the way there, I was like, should be all right, should manage. And then on the way home, hell broke loose. And I was like prairie dogging. The turtle's head was coming out. So I did what everyone would do in that situation. I phoned my mum.
Why?
For distraction.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought, I know who will answer the phone. I phoned my mum. And so I phoned her straight away. And my opening thing on the call was, I'm dying for a shit and I'm about to shit myself. So I need you to distract me for 10 to 15 minutes whilst I go at a pace that no one ever uses. Actually, you do use it. You use it one other time when you're crossing the road and someone's let you go. That's the same pace that you use when you're about to shit yourself, isn't it? It's I'm not quite running because that will ease this out more, but I'm not walking slow either.
No, because I think when you're doing that, you're a bit more of a stride. You get into a bit more of a jump and you're like, oh, just going across the road now. Whereas when you're going to shit yourself, I find you're obviously a bit tighter and you're more like this.
It's all arms.
Like a little chihuahua. You're just like, oh.
But your legs are like speed walking.
Yeah.
But that was one time I didn't even get to sit down. That's as far as the story goes. That's it's not exciting. It's not good. That's why we had to ask you guys to do it because I ain't got any good ones. A couple of them are just to do with constipation.
See, I have none of them because I don't really experience constipation.
No, we've heard you like to paint the bowl.
That's more my technique, yeah. Just Jackson Pollock, that stuff.
When I was a kid, we went out on a little bike ride. Okay. And we were going through the city centre and I really needed a shit, so I went in. And then it got stuck halfway out. And I couldn't get rid of it. I didn't have the intelligence that I do now to reach up there and snap it off.
What?
It was a problem. And I got it. It wasn't going well, and I was basically
sorry.
Right.
Detail. Have you snapped off your shit before?
Yeah, I don't do it often. When you're just I'm doing it right now. You just you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. You make it.
Oh, with your bum hole.
I mean, all right, if I was in that situation now,
I thought you meant your hand. I thought you meant you reach around, grab your shit, and go.
Well, if I've got it that far round, it's probably already snapped off. If I can see it, it's already. It's it's like a magician's scarf that I'm just pulling out.
That's what. Right. So to go back to your story. How old are you?
12.
At 12, you didn't have the intelligence to just clench.
I still wipe standing up.
Oh, you do.
So let's
negate any intelligence on your part.
Any shitting intelligence. Yeah,
so you were having a shit and
I was in the AMF bowling alley toilet for about 45 minutes.
Okay.
And then I had to I just couldn't finish it, so I got back on my bike and I went home, but no one was in. So then I had to go sit on my friend's toilet, and I stayed there for a few hours.
Few hours?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the poo was too big for my sweet, tiny cornhole at the time. It hadn't been fully ruined the way it has now. You know when just the poo's too big and it's very painful to push out and you're like punching the door or whatever. No, I don't punch the door, but I put my hands on it like, oh God, like it's really painful.
Why didn't you just give up and like get on with your day?
Because there was enough of it coming out that I'd started something, I should probably finish it.
You should have just gone with your day.
I should have done.
It would have came back later proper.
I should have used the bike saddle just to push it back in there a bit and then just cracked on with the day. I should have done. But I didn't know that at the time. So, again, not really a story, not really interesting or funny. It's just
it's weird
thing that happened.
Did no one teach you, like, how to shit?
I don't think they should need to teach you how to shit. It kind of is pretty self-explanatory.
Well, no one taught you how to fucking wipe.
They did, and then I developed my own superior method.
Yeah. Okay.
Shitting stories. When I was a very small kid, 6, 7, 8, not 8, definitely less than 8. I was still like a child. I know that 8's still a child, but they're developing more. I was less than that.
Okay.
And I was very constipated at my grandma's house. Couldn't shit to save my life. Stayed in there in the toilet for a little while. She knocked on the door, checked if I was all right. I was like, no, I just can't get this out. So she came in. So I was at that age. I could shit with my grandma coming in. That's the age I was at.
Right.
There's not a number on it, but there's an age where your grandma can see you shitting. Yeah. And she tried, like, this is so lovely, and it's not going to sound lovely, but it's super lovely. A nice thing to try. She grabbed both my butt cheeks while I was sat down and just shook me a bit.
Shook ones.
Yeah. Shook twos in that situation. Didn't work. It was an ineffective method. But I appreciated the attempt. And to this day, I call that grandma cheeks. Which people think is like this, but it's not. It's like this.
That's really weird. Did your grandma touch you any other times, Kier?
Only when I was constipated. No, only that one time.
That's hella weird.
Yeah. Grandma cheeks.
Okay, well... any more stories?
I don't like the classics, like trusting a fart too much. And then
So you have shit yourself?
Yeah, but not like properly, just more like a, the last bit of a spray can, just like enough of a, like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you try and play it off, but everyone knows the difference between a smell of a fart and a shit, don't they?
Yeah, I haven't shit myself, it's just a fart.
Like, that's shit.
Just got to run the toilet really quickly.
That is definitely
Come
shit.
back in different trousers.
Yeah.
I just fancy the change, that's all.
I always go commando. I'm not really a big fan of wearing underwear.
Just going to take these trousers downstairs now and put them in the washing machine. Don't mind me.
Yeah, that's about all I got. I'm pretty vanilla when it comes to the shit.
Vanilla.
I'm a vanilla shitter.
You're not chocolate ice cream.
I'm always impressed at how fast sweet corn can get through your body.
Yeah.
It always amazes me just how quick it gets there. Like, you could eat some sweet corn on the evening and the next morning it comes out on the cob.
Do you look at your shit?
You should do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
To make sure it's okay. There's no extra blood in there more than normal.
Yeah, I know that, but do you do that every day?
Every shit I check.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm conscious about my anus.
What?
You're supposed to look at your shit.
I know you are. They say you are, but every day.
But what am I? That's what I seem like. I know they are. I say they are.
But every day.
Every shit I look at.
That's insane.
Check my balls every day as well. Make sure they're good.
Oh, we had this conversation at the shop the other day while you were away.
It doesn't look like I'm health conscious, but I'm just checking the things that are likely to go.
I just said, I don't think I've ever checked my balls.
Yeah, I check them every day.
And the whole room erupted and was like, you must check your balls. And I was like, obviously, I scratched my balls. And I don't know. That's...
Yeah, but when you go to the doctors and go, I might have testicular cancer, they don't go, give them a scratch to find out.
No, what I'm saying is I give them a scratch every now and then, and sometimes I get a bit of a, Give him a little, not a rub, but like sometimes the ball skin needs a little bit of that. And in doing so, I brush past my balls.
You're not going to find a lump like that.
Yeah.
Or something that's different
Yeah.
by doing that.
Yeah, but I don't know what's different because I've never done it.
That's worse.
I'm just going to live in denial.
The doctor's like, you got 3 lumps on your balls. You know, they've been there since I last checked. I don't know what the... You said abnormalities, and the first time I checked, they were lumpy as fuck.
Maybe I'll get testicular cancer, and in like 20 years, we can use this clip as like a warning. Daryl was an idiot. I don't check my balls.
Play at the funeral, but keep the first like 15 minutes on when we're talking about shit. Like, I just stand up.
You
there.
understand that? It's all context, guys. It makes sense in the end.
We're assuming that I'm going to live longer than you, which is nice. I like that.
I think you probably will.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think you will.
Maybe.
Now I'm just thinking about dying.
One of the kids when they were little used to not want to go take a shit on the potty or like go to the toilet. Yeah. And so used to stand there and just give you like solid eye contact and then she'd pull her shorts to the side, standing and just shit straight onto the floor. Just...
When people ask me why I don't want kids, I'm just gonna show that clip. That's why I don't want kids.
No, you want dogs that also shit all over the floor.
They go on the mats.
When they're here?
When we have mats, yeah. When we have the mats down.
Yeah, carpet down.
Yeah.
Same thing.
That's different. They're dogs.
Human poo's better than dog poo.
Not chihuahuas. Chihuahua poo's like this big.
But say you had to smear one on your face and they were same size. Which would you put a dog shit on your face or a human shit on your face?
I couldn't care less.
Actually, yeah, that is harder.
I genuinely to me it's not harder. It's a matter of I couldn't care less.
No, dog poo sometimes
They're
literally
both
is harder.
Shit. Dog poo, well, not Maple and Cinder. They're a bit fucking weird.
Like super soakers.
Lots of diarrhea.
Yeah. Like their puppy.
They have to change their diet constantly.
Shall we read some of these stories that people have sent in?
Let's go!
Poop time!
Right.
Well, we'll start with number 1 and then on to number 2 after.
Jesus. Let's go.
So, some of this is absolutely...
Yeah, separate. So is that one, yeah?
Yeah, this is a... The fact that some of these are 2-sided, 3-sided...
1-3.
...is insane. Yeah, this is the first time we read these. So we don't know what's coming up.
Oh, yeah. So, like I said, I got Rasheen to read them and like check them. And then... So we haven't heard these, read these, none of it. It's all real time.
So if there's stuff in there that sounds like something we wouldn't say, it probably isn't. Shall I just get reading?
Just go, yeah.
Yeah. I want to preface these by saying there's several, by saying I don't have a medical condition or anything. My body just seems to have 2 states. Either I don't need a shit or I have to go that second or I'll mess myself.
I'm not going to lie. Same. That's a good description of me.
That is a great opening gambit as well.
I like it. I like it.
I used to work in the centre of York. Oh, we can figure out who this is. I finished work one night and walked home out of the centre and down a very long road by my home. It's 4 a.m. and I'm about halfway when my stomach lets me know I'm about to void my bowels. That's very poetic. I could run back to work, but chances are doors will be locked. I could run home, but there's no guarantee my girlfriend at the time would be up. So I whipped my socks off and dove in the bushes by the hospital. I'm about to find a problem in this story. Floodgates open and I feel instant relief. From behind me, I hear a rustling and then a very loud and justified, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Oh, no.
Turns out I've just projectile sprayed a poor bloke sleeping rough. And he's not in the mood for apologies.
Would you even try? I'd just run.
I whip my jeans up and sprint off down the road.
Yep.
I get down by the train tracks, wipe my ass with my sock.
That's a great detail.
There's no mention of putting the shoes back on. There's shoes in one hand, socks in the other, and a shitty ass.
Yeah.
Amazing. Through socks and fling them over the fence. I go in my house, I shower and go to sleep. I used to see the guy sometimes outside shops, so I'd always buy him a meal deal and drop a few quid for him. You dropped more than that for him. You dropped your trousers for him. That's so brutal.
That's a bad one, yeah.
Yeah, that's not great. That's where we're starting with this one.
That's a good start. Right. So he's got more stories. Let's go.
Oh yeah, there's 3.
Okay,
they're bullet pointed.
Number 1 out the way. Number 2.
Number 2. Hello. Driving from Middlesbrough. Let's get ready for that. Driving from Middlesbrough to York, my stomach starts to gurgle. I'm about 20 minutes away from Middlesbrough and think I can hold this. I get to my front door, absolutely desperate. The key goes in the lock, and my body just lets the gates open. It felt so good. But now I'm stood on my doorstep with it down the back of my legs.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, how does that feel good?
I go in, head into the bathroom, and realise it's everywhere. Up my back, down my legs, in my socks.
Oh.
So I did the only sensible thing and black bagged everything, got showered, and disposed of the evidence.
That one's a bit more sad.
I completely missed saying this, right? The first one, you shat outside a hospital, which have toilets and are open 24 hours a day, and you decided to shit on a homeless man.
I think to encapsulate myself in that moment, I think he needed it. The hospital was just there.
The hospital just happened to be there.
The bush was the destination. He couldn't make it to the entrance. The bush was where it had to be. I understand that.
But if you shit yourself in the waiting room of a doctor's, at least you could blame it on something. I wouldn't go in there and say, I don't have any medical conditions or anything. My body just seems to have 2 states, and then shit on the floor of the hospital.
Maybe, some advice, maybe you could have ran to the hospital covered in shit and just went like, I'm covered in shit. Someone probably would have cleaned you up.
Yeah, and just shouted, a homeless man shit on me.
Yeah.
And then you're in the clear.
Shit in my pants.
But that wouldn't be as good a story. So
yeah, this is a good story. Right, number 3.
I let a fart go in Broodnell once and promptly had to run home as the toilets were closed for anything other than a piss. Down a pint.
So specific.
Down a pint, shut, slip back home, which thankfully was only up the hill. Up the hill. Man.
It's not what you want.
Get into a brand new outfit and deny any knowledge that I was wearing anything else half an hour prior. Where's the evidence? Where's the papers? No proof. No proof I wasn't wearing this when I came out. Drop it. Never happened. There's some good shitting stories.
So I'm just trying to get myself in that one. So am I correct in thinking he was in Broodnell, he sharted.
Yeah.
Then he nipped home.
Yeah.
But then came back out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, right? I think if I sharted, that's my night done.
Probably, yeah.
Like, atmospherically, I'd probably be like, oh, sharted. I think I'm going to go home now and probably feel a bit sad.
I think once you had a shower and you're all sorted, though, if you had a few beers in you, you'd be pretty lively to get back out again. You wouldn't want to sit there.
Fair play. I admire the courage to go back out.
Yeah, and face society again after you've shit yourself. You're a brave man.
Yeah.
Stevenson. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, this says anonymous on it. Fuck.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't, Graham, don't worry. Yeah, Graham Stevenson at the Chemistry of Common Life with the underscores throughout.
There we go.
Nice one, Graham.
Thanks, Graham.
Thanks for letting us in your life and your pants.
The first one was definitely the best. In future, you should finish with that one.
That was absolutely great.
That was the best one. I genuinely, I can't imagine shitting myself on a night out and then going back out as well. That's impressive.
There's a lot of shame involved.
Yeah.
Which you obviously feel none of.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're a G. Graham.
I would have went in if the bin lid was open, but it wasn't, and now it's just sat on the radiator.
Sat on the fucking radiator.
That'll probably set on fire at some point.
Right.
That was very exciting.
This one opens with, here's a story for shook ones. Story time. Oh.
Tuck yourself in, children.
Right, are we ready? Oh, I'll set the scene. It was a steady Tuesday afternoon at the studio, around 1 p.m. to be exact, in the middle of August. Steady 22 degrees, shop door open, Tunes on the lads. Oh, he's not put a comma here. Idiot. Tunes on, comma. The lads just got back from dinner and had their heads down, back ripping and dripping. Just like any other day. This is weird, man. This is not how I talk.
That's why it's hard.
It's not how I talk. Right. But today wasn't any other day. Today was the day of the house of 1,000 shites. A young man walked in confidently, briskly. He looked as though he was in a rush. He had his headphones on and grey denim jacket with long brown hair. This is very thorough. Slightly shiny due to the sun reflecting from the sweat. He looked at the boss man, then at me, making sure but firm eye contact. I knew this was a man not to be taken lightly. He walked past me without saying a word and headed for the stairs.
Okay.
What? Wait.
So they're in their studio.
And a guy's just walked in.
This is a tattooer, I'm guessing, by the sounds of it, because he's in the studio ripping and
This
dipping.
is Elliot Tattoos. He did want to be shouted out. Elliot Tattoos. So a guy's just walked in. Right. Me being me, I presume this man had a family member or friend upstairs. He was just bobbing in to show one of them their scab masters. One of the other scab masters, his sweet new scab. However, he was not doing any of those. He was doing something much more sinister. 10 minutes went by and one of the lads came downstairs and said, "Who's in the toilet?" Me and Bossman looked at each other confused and said, "Nobody." He replied, "Well, I've just gone to go to the toilet and someone's in there and everyone accounted for down here." And as he said that, the ominous sound of the toilet flushed. As we desperately listened intently, we could hear the footsteps from upstairs get closer and closer to the top of the steps, and then down them, each step making a bellowing creak. Then a face emerged from the doorframe. It was the headphone guy. He stopped, stared at each of us for what felt like a lifetime, headed back down the second set of steps and towards the front door. None of us said a word, just watched. He opened the door, took one last look back, and left. We all stared at each other in confusion. Who was this guy? What was he doing? Why did we fear him so much? So many questions, such little answers. So a guy took a shit in the shop. We had no idea who he was. Never seen him since. No skids, no trace, other than a certain smell of shit. To this day, I have lots of respect for this guy. He openly walked into a tattoo shop and took a shit, stared us down, and left. 200% Chad.
That's so weird.
I mean, that's really weird. Yeah.
That is strange, isn't it?
Like, on the one hand, Elliot, my only critique of the story is I was expecting worse.
There's a lot of stairs involved in that story, isn't there?
Lots of stairs.
Does David Bowie work at your studio?
Lots of stairs and stairs.
Stairs and stairs.
Stairs and stairs. Stairs on stairs. But yeah, it ended nicer than I thought. But I think what we take away from this was that guy had balls of steel.
Yeah,
he just walked in and just went, "I need a shit. You guys have got a toilet." One question I've got is, how did he know where the toilet was? He must have been like an ex-customer or something.
Yeah, maybe. Because how would he have made it past the desk to go straight past? And why wouldn't you have said, "Man, I need a shit bad"? Like, he might have been like a little walk-in. He might have got tattooed by someone who doesn't work there anymore. He must have known the layout. Because if someone walked in here confidently, just walk straight look for the toilet. There's so many doors and angles they could go. Like they'd just be walking around the shop like, "Where's the toilet?" I absolutely would not know how to deal with that either. Like, if the door was open, someone just walked straight past me, straight into the toilet. I'm not gonna lie, if someone did that, I would handle it exactly the same. Especially in a walk-in shop. Like, if someone walked in confidently and just went straight past, I would do the same. I would think, "Oh, they must be with someone else in the shop. Yeah. They're probably going to come down in 2 minutes. That's not my problem. I'll carry on with my day." And then once they left, I would probably do the same thing as well. I'd just be like, I'd make eye contact and be like, "Who the fuck was that?" But then I wouldn't confront him because I'd be like, "Oh, he's gone. He's not a problem." Yeah, yeah. And then there'd been that point where everyone in the shop would have spoke to each other, almost. Would have spoke to each other and gone, "And you thought it was a shitting ghost for some reason." Yeah. The toilet flushed. Fucking classic shitting ghost. It does sound like a labyrinth, their studio, though, with all these stairs. And lots of stairs, yeah. Like an MC Escher. I am still trying to figure out how there was one set of stairs that you saw him on, but then there was a second set of stairs. I'm sure you'll probably tell us.
I am genuinely interested as well. How is the one set, and then is there one set? Is it got like, because somehow you have like the one set, and then you have like the little breaker, and then another set. So maybe it's one of them.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's a corner.
Maybe it's just all stairs throughout
One
the whole
set.
studio. And
Yeah, maybe
everyone's
it's
just kind of
tie one stairs.
Yeah. Like that last scene of Labyrinth of the baby crawling up the steps and that.
Don't remember that, but
Yeah, it's classic.
I remember Labyrinth. Dance, magic dance, magic dance, it's Bowie's penis in your face.
I don't remember that. Is that the director's cut?
Yeah. It's Bowie's cut.
Shout out Jim
Just his
Henson.
penis. Like this, imagine this is the camera, it's just his penis. Every now and then he brings up to his face and he goes, back to his penis.
One of the kids likes to go, "Oh, David Bowie in his tights."
That was a questionable outfit for David Bowie in that film.
Strong. It is strong.
Is he wearing a cup or is it like...
It's definitely a cup.
Is it a cup? Yeah. I was going to say it didn't have definition. Maybe that's why.
It'd be weird if it did. Like,
Maybe
if you could
like-
see his dick.
Maybe they just put because it was like super tight. It wasn't tight. It was like leggings, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
They put these super tight leggings on him, and then maybe everyone was like, "Oh, Bowie, we can see like your balls, penis, and helmet.
Yeah. We can make it all out.
We need to cup that shit."
Yeah. I think that's probably what's gone on.
Yeah.
We need to cut. This is a kid's film, and we can see your cock, mate.
Yeah. and everyone you're surrounded by in this scene is about 3 foot. So the camera angles are going to be 3 foot with your legs and penis.
Yeah.
Until we pan up to you and then pan back down to your legs and penis. So,
And we've got a shot where we're starting off at your feet and we're panning up past your penis, and then you're holding a baby. It's problematic.
yeah, we just want to cut all that kind of
teenage girl looking for her brother, David Bowie's penis.
Yeah, you stole the baby, of course, but that's not problematic at all. But
your penis is stealing the show.
you're going to make the baby into a goblin and keep him forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can't deal with your penis being there. Like, the child abduction aside, please cover that penis. That's what I always say.
And on that note, are you ready for another story?
I am, yeah.
I keep aggressively licking my fingers. I think this is the 3-pager. Woo! It is.
Oh, this is a beast.
It is.
Settle in. Get yourself a nice cup of
This
cocoa.
one comes from just Tim.
Tim. Or just Tim.
Timothy Tim. Just Tim.
Name's Tim. Just Tim.
Tim.
Hey, Kier and Daryl. Familiar. I like it.
Oh.
Here's my shit story. I'm hoping shit story rather than a story that's shit. Sorry it's a bit long. You're fucking telling us, Tim. 3 pages. And these aren't small pages.
Thorough. I like it. I like it, though. Let's go.
This is basically a dissertation. My shit story begins in the delightful country of... Oh, yeah, I'm fucking up there already. I want to say... How do you say this? Laos?
Oh, God.
Laos.
Laos?
Laos?
Let's just say Laos.
We'll go for Laos.
Where is it? Who knows?
Laos.
Laos.
So every time I say it, just imagine the right way you say it instead. Country of Laos, where my 6'5", 20-stone friend and I were backpacking. Let's call him Big Spud.
Okay.
One sunny morning, we decided to do an excursion to visit a beautiful waterfall that we'd heard lots about. Big Spud had a slightly dicky tummy, but in true Dr. Pepper style, we figured that was the worst what was the worst that could happen? Sorry, man, I fucked up your punchline hard.
Oh.
But in true Dr. Pepper style, we'll just cut it. In true Dr. Pepper style, we figured, what's the worst that could happen? Seamless then, because I'll just chop that up.
You'll chop this bit out as well.
Yeah. And anytime I mention it in the future, including this bit now, and that.
And this?
This as well.
So all getting chopped.
All of this is getting chopped straight out. So
Yep.
fear not, you won't have to listen to... I'm going to chop that, aren't I?
Yep.
The excursion started with a half-hour drive in the back of a tuk-tuk. About 15 minutes in, I noticed a growing fear in Big Spud's eye. The dicky tummy was worsening. In a panic, Big Spud starts desperately pleading to the tuk-tuk driver to pull over at a toilet somewhere. His calls of desperation were clearly lost in translation, and the driver just carried on. The way people are writing these is fucking great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really nice. The next 15 minutes in the tuk-tuk were full of Big Spud's whimpers and cries for help.
Whimpers is such a good word.
Whilst I was considering how we'd clean up the faux leather seats in the tuk-tuk after the seemingly eventual reality of Big Spud's implosion. By some miracle, we managed to get to the waterfall site with Big Spud's ass still intact. The tuk-tuk pulls up and Big Spud jumps out of the back and rushes to the toilets looking like an Olympic power walker. I pay the tuk-tuk driver and make my own way to the toilets. I turn the corner into the toilets to be greeted by a group of Korean tourists, all holding their noses and making noises of disgust. I wade through the tourists and call for Big Spud. After a couple seconds of silence, he replies, "Mate, have you got any tissues? It's not gone well at all in here." I did not have tissues. After a few minutes, Big Spud emerges from the toilet with speckles of shit scattered all over his feet and legs. Oh! He walked through the group of Korean tourists, and I was half expecting them all to start shouting, "Shame! Shame! Shame!" It turns out that the toilets was one of those squatter toilets that are essentially just a hole in the ground. Big Spud had rushed in there, pulled down his shorts, squatted and let loose. Those squat toilets aren't the best at containing ass eruptions, it seems, and shit had gone everywhere. Instead of toilet roll, you're expected to use a power jet-style ass blaster to clean up. However, when Big Spud pulled the trigger, there seemed to be a plumbing issue and no water came out. This plumbing issue continued onto the taps at the sinks, and there was no way of Big Spud to make an attempt to clean up. With no other options than to keep calm and carry on, we begin the waterfall excursion with Big Spud having shit-covered legs and not wiped his ass. Oh. He is going to a waterfall, though, so...
I was thinking this already. I was like, that's a perfect place to go.
If I was watching a film, I'd be like, waterfall. This is all coming together, I'm hoping that's going to be the case. The first part of the excursion required us to ascend up a steep path beside the massive waterfall.
That's what you want.
Keeping my distance, I watch on as Big Spud clambers up this path, looking like a scene from Saving Private Ryan. As we make our way to the top, the tropical humid heat starts to take its toll on Big Spud's butt cheeks. Oh. And the dreaded chafing starts, getting more painful with each step. We finally make it to the top of the waterfall. At the top, there was a wooden path going over the pools at the top of the waterfall for tourists to walk over. The pools were roped off and had no swimming signs everywhere. Big Spud was in agony at this point, and before I could advise otherwise, he climbs over the rope and dunks his lower body in the pool. Murmurs of distaste and hate start to build as the tourists see their Kodak moments of this beautiful natural wonder ruined by a 6'5" Englishman lapping his arsehole. Having mixed emotions of empathy, embarrassment, and dislike for Big Spud, I then kept further distance from him as we made our descent back down the waterfall. We get back to the hostel, and the nappy rash has fully kicked in and Big Spud is struggling to walk. I'm then sent on a mission to find some Sudocrem in this quiet, rural, Laotian village. I'm glad they didn't come up too much. To my surprise, I find a pharmacy and manage to get the goods.
That's nice.
I finish this story with the image of Big Spud and his Sudocremed nappy rash ass waddling like John Wayne into the sunset in the distance as he lived happily ever after. Keep up the good podcast work. Yours, Tim. That is lovely.
That was a nice story.
I really want to know why they had such distaste and hate, because I have a feeling that there's a real good reason for that.
What do you mean?
Like that maybe it's like some waterfall and the pools are like sacred waterfalls.
And he's just like, oh God, fucking hell.
It's like someone praying and like baptizing a child. And he's just like, oh God.
I'm not going to lie, I would do exactly the same.
You'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Fuck that sign.
But I would be the classic English guy going, I'm really sorry, guys. I shit myself earlier. I'm really sorry. I need to do that. I'm sorry. I wouldn't just jump in and be like, I'm getting in, fuck you. I'd be like, I'm sorry everyone.
Just slowly backing in.
I just need to wipe my ass, please.
Really slowly lowering your trousers as you say, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Like you're nudging your way to the front of a queue. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I just need to do this.
A vegan sausage roll, please. And so why are your pants down? That was a great little story. I like that. Nice one, Tim.
One for you, one for me.
Oh, sweet.
These last two are anonymous. They did not want to be named. Better be good then.
And we better be careful of showing the back of it. Oh, no, that one's fine. Just like, these need to be anonymous. Just holding them up. Anonymous.
I have crossed out the email here. So even if this was HD and you zoomed in, there's nothing to see.
But fortunately for us, the quality is not that good.
Yeah. This one's nice and short. So, yeah. Hey, here is my shit story. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I was with my family at my aunt's house for Christmas. My aunt's house is really perfect and pristine, like a show home. I went to her bathroom for a shit and then realised there was no toilet paper left. Everybody else was downstairs and I didn't want to shout for toilet paper, so I used the only thing I could think of. My aunt's perfect white bathroom towel. I took it off the radiator, wiped my ass with it, and then put it back. Shit face down so nobody could see. That is horrific. Thankfully, we didn't stay for much longer, but about a week later, when my grandparents were visiting, I overheard them telling my parents that my cousin was still grounded for shitting on his mum's towel. My cousin was a cunt, so I thought this was hilarious. And then the rest was just her saying, please keep it anonymous.
Just half of it. Don't say a fucking word.
I mean, reading that, I get why you want to be anonymous now. That makes complete sense.
There's so many questions in this. One, does the family know who the real culprit of that situation is?
That's
now?
my main one. Yeah, have you admitted? Because I've had this is going to be a little detour. I think I've mentioned it before. Nowhere near.
No, the bin lid's closed. So even if it was,
I don't know if I mentioned this before. The Dr. Pepper story.
I don't know.
So
what's the worst that can happen? Nailed it, Tim.
This is what it was. So when I was a kid, still now I'm more into flat pop than fizzy pop.
Yeah,
I like fizzy drinks, but I prefer them flat. Of all varieties, I'd rather just flatten them a bit. And when I was a kid, I used to do that by just shaking the bottle and then
yeah,
like just letting the air out slowly, and then I drink it all. So it was I was about, I think I was about 7 or 8, and my parents had went to the shop and they brought on loads of Dr. Pepper. They then went back out, so I went downstairs to get some Dr. Pepper, and I just shook the bottle, and then I tried to do the slow, but I shook it way too much, and it just went, and then just sprayed all over the ceiling.
Like a Ghostbuster trying to get...
just... And then I proceeded to put the cap back on, very quickly mop the floor, and then run upstairs. And when I say quickly, I mean, I think I literally got some kitchen roll and went like, fuck, and then just put it in the bed and just ran upstairs. And then I laid there for a good hour, just like, oh my God. And then my parents come home. I hear my parents come home and they're just like, and they're just like, ha ha ha, like all happy. And then obviously walk into a severely sticky kitchen. And I overheard, my house is quite small, I overheard my dad going, what is this? What's on the floor? Why is it all what's on the ceiling? And then he goes, kids, downstairs, now! And then we all kind of go downstairs and they're like, who has made the kitchen all sticky? Like, who's done it?
Which is a great story to...
Because they didn't know why. At the time, they were like, they couldn't figure out why it happened, it's obvious, but they obviously, because they're walking into a sticky house, so what's going on? So like, what has happened? Who's done it? And then obviously all of us just went, well, my siblings went, I don't fucking know. And I went, I don't know. But obviously as a child, I thought I was getting away with it, but clearly I was going, wasn't me. I didn't do it.
I don't even know what Dr. Pepper is.
I didn't see anything. So then they were like, okay, everyone go to bed. And clearly, the minute I left the room, my mum and dad went, well, fucking Daryl on it. Because 10 minutes later, my mum came up to it and she was like, She sat on my bed and she went, did you spray Dr. Pepper all over the ceiling? And I was like, no. And she's like, you can tell us. We're not mad. We just want to know because somebody did. We figured it out. It was Dr. Pepper. Somebody sprayed Dr. Pepper everywhere. And
Is there a Dr. Pepper bottle like next to you as well?
Yeah.
Half gone. You've just been sipping it.
Perfectly flat.
That Dr. Pepper does look quite flat. Have you?
But then I fully was like, no, it wasn't me. Just fully wouldn't admit it. And my mum just went like, all right, whatever. And they just dropped it.
Over the counter.
They just dropped it. And I was like, yes. And I think I admitted it to my mum when I was like 19 or so. I was like, you do know that was me, right? She was like, yes, we knew it was you. Obviously. We knew it was you.
We didn't sit on anyone else's bed and check with them.
But
they got found out.
Yeah.
Whereas in this situation, I'd love to know if they have ever been found out.
Yeah.
Or whether the person that wrote that has told anyone else in the family, because that cousin might not know it's that cousin that did it. They just know it happened.
Yeah, I feel like you need to tell your cousin. But if your cousin's a cunt, then maybe just don't. Let them live with the shame.
Maybe they don't know it was the cousin, and they're like, well, Grandma, she's going a bit senile, and she had a load of shit on her face, and she's obviously used the towel to clean her face. That's probably not what's happened. That's pretty bad.
I think the worst bit of that story, which makes sense for a 6-7-year-old, we need to obviously remember that context of being a
16, 17, yeah.
Of a naive little
6,
kid.
7.
The worst bit of that is that you wiped it and then put it back on the towel roll. Like, I would have wiped that, folded it as tightly as possible, put it in my back pocket, and then dispose of it at the next possible opportunity.
Yeah.
Putting it back. Terrible.
Imagine you've just gone to the toilet, right? Oh, you just wiped your ass, right? You stood up, obviously, and then you've got a bit of shit on your hand. You wash your hands, all nice and clean. And then you go to dry your freshly clean hands and they get covered in someone else's shit. You don't realise it's the towel doing it. Oh, I've still got some shit on me. I better do that again.
Wow, I had a really bad time just then. Fuck, I better wash my hands. What is happening?
I'm so glad this clean brown towel is here for me to use.
All right, let's do this last one.
Last one. I forgot there was still one more to go.
It's 2 sides as well.
This one's anonymous too, right?
Yeah, anonymous.
Anons. Easy, lads. My email's fucked at the minute and isn't working. So, got a couple. Now, this guy so far is writing how I speak, so it's making things a bit easier.
Okay.
But we'll see how long that goes on for. One time was working on a brand new building site. It was just a field and an old stable. No toilets, no fuck all. Good work so far. As I'm an avid mid-morning shitter, I'm starting to get the belly bubbles at around 9, 10 a.m. Fucking belly bubbles is great. I'm thinking, fuck's sake, there's loads of houses around this field, so I'm going to have to go in this stable. I'm guessing can't shit in the field, going to go in the stable. Now, the lads had set up the break time table in this stable. Kettle, tea, coffee. So I'm thinking, fuck me, where am I going to shit? The floor's been swept out and I'll leave skidders. So a lad who I worked with who lives on Pringles says, save me a few Pringles, lad. So he gives me the last few in the tube. Off I go into the stable and had to curl one out into a Pringles tin. Then wipe my ass with a paper bag from a butty. Accuracy was 10 out of 10. I then proceeded to offer the lad who lives off Pringles the last Pringle. His eyes copped the shit before his hand did. Luckily. So he shit in a Pringles tube.
He did it on purpose?
Yeah, so he shit in a Pringles tube. Got drawn the last Pringle, and luckily he spotted that there's shit in the tube first.
That is savage. No shame.
That's going to make me question any time I blindly reach into a Pringles tub. Even if I opened it, I'm going to be like, who's tampered with this?
Who's shitting it? Who's shitting these Pringles?
It's not a bad thing to shit in, is it? It's got like, it's not a bad hole. Like, you wouldn't be able to like put it in like you were docking, like a docking system in
Everyone
space.
knows what their arsehole is though. You could probably like just press it again, and then you're like, oh, cool, done.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Is there more to this story?
There's a second story.
Ah, okay. Let's go.
Oh, man. I was so hoping he was going to have reached his hand in there and like he just goes, yeah, that feels Pringle textured.
I was going to hope that he was blind and then just got a Pringle out from the bottom and went, oh.
It's nice that you hoped he was blind, but... We was working in someone's property as we was building them an extension. The job was nearly done. We just had the plumbers and sparkies to finish off. Electricians, sparkies. Just keep you in there.
Lingo.
To finish off. So I'm having a tidy around the job and I start dying for a shit. So I thought I'll pop off upstairs into the room where a customer has piled all her units and wardrobes. Seemed like a weird room to be going in for a shit. So I'm squatting behind these units and all I have is a one-stop carrier bag. Idea was to tie it and skip it straight away. Anyway, I've just curled one out. The next thing I hear, the plumber's coming up. So I'm thinking, I best wait till they go back downstairs and then I'll wipe and sling the bag. That's good thinking. That's a good move. One of the plumbers says, Jesus, there's a bit of a waft up here. And the other replies, I can't say I because I'm Southern, so I can't do it. You do it. Right, so, Jesus, there's a bit of a waft up here. And the other replies, I. Perfect. At this point, I'm laughing to myself. Then the plumber shouts down to the apprentice and says, have you drilled for a waste pipe because it fucking stinks? The apprentice says, I don't know, I could have. So the gaffer of the lads goes storming downstairs. The other lad left upstairs starts coughing and gagging, saying, fuck me, it pongs up here. The other plumber comes storming back up and the cloud hits him again and he starts coughing, saying the same. They're both scratching their heads at this point and struggling to work as it was a hefty smell. So I wipes quietly. Hasn't wiped yet. Stinks up here, pants around his ankles, bag of shit. No idea where that's coming from, mate. Wipe pants down. Also, has this guy left the room before you started wiping? So that smell's coming from somewhere. Oh, yeah, mate, you're telling me.
Just squatting in the corner. I know, mate. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Just doing tissue checks and that. Oh, mate, horrific. What kind of animal would do this? So I wipe quietly, tie the bag up, and walk out from the room, all casual. They say, where you come from? And I said, I was having a shit in there, lads. And they both start pissing themselves, thinking they damaged a waste pipe, and proceeded to calling me a rotten cunt.
I mean, yeah, you deserve that name. Yeah.
I want to be a fly on the wall in so many of these situations. I want to know what people's pants situation was.
Yeah.
Especially in that one, like where he's like, still needs to wipe.
Yeah.
Like he's not wiped yet, but he's also saying, oh yeah, this is crazy. This situation's awful.
There's a bag of shit in his hand.
From One Stop, which is oddly poetic.
Yeah.
Have you got any nice shitting stories to share with the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls?
Yeah, I have. So I've got a double-barreled one. It's not about the shit. It's about where I was shitting. So this is the worst place I've shit. It's double-barreled, but Big Spud has kind of ruined it.
Right. Okay.
So I had a similar experience to Big Spud so this is Morocco. So both of these stories in Morocco. And we were hiking through the Atlas Mountains. And Are
you coming on to me? It sounds like you are.
After this story, I'm not.
Climbing up this mountain.
We were hiking through the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. And we stopped off at a little village. Just to, I don't know, regroup and have some food and stuff. So we stopped off this little village, and it was what you see on TV. It was all
nothing out of the
straw huts and
nothing out of the normal.
They had no electricity.
It was exactly what you think it is.
Yeah. And I stupidly was like, "Have you got a toilet?" And they went, "Well, we do, but it's a hole in the ground." So I went, "Okay." I just obviously I've never shit in a hole in the ground, so I was like, "I'll give it a go." And it was exactly like what he described, but not as his sounded fancy. This was clear, and it was a hole about year big.
Pringles can size.
Yeah, about Pringles. Yeah, that's a perfect description. About year big, drilled in the floor. I don't know what was underneath. No idea. But they wanted me to shit in a hole this big. But unlike the Pringles can, I couldn't bring it to my bum. I had to squat and aim. And as it was my first time, I didn't do very well.
Yeah.
Missed the hole. I got some of it in the hole. It kind of went in the hole and then blah, on the side. And just about, a few inches of shit on the side. And then I'm like, fuck. And then I look around and there's no toilet roll. Obviously. So, well, I don't know why, obviously, but there's no toilet roll. So I'm like, fuck, how the fuck? And I've got my own toilet roll, but it's limited.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't want to waste time.
Wait, what have you got the loo roll for?
To wipe my ass.
So why are you worried about wasting it? If
Because I had to. This was like the second day, and it had to last me the whole week I was there.
Right, okay.
And I had one roll. So
okay.
I just didn't want to waste it.
Yeah.
So then I look around, and there's a metal pole with a rag on the end of it. So I then grab the metal pole and use it's a shit covered rag. I don't know if they wipe their ass with it or they do the exact same thing that I was doing with it, but I then proceed to like flick my shit down the hole, and then I put the metal pole back, and then I let go and look at my hand, and it's covered in shit. So the whole metal pole was covered in shit, like lightly covered in shit, and then I was like, "Fuck!" So then obviously I've defeated the purpose of not using toilet roll because I had to wipe my hand, and then the next part that's pretty much it. I wipe my ass.
That's not your shit either, is it?
That's not my shit. It's their shit.
It's shit.
My hand was clean, and my hand was clean. I hadn't got any shit on my hand, and then I touched the stick, and then let go of the stick, and it was covered in shit.
Gross.
Just lightly, like there was just a perfect little imprint of where the pole was, and on my fingers as well. And then there's not much else to that story. I wiped my ass. It was a perfectly good shit as well. It wasn't wet or anything. I was having a good time. But then I came out. They had no water, so I couldn't wash my hands.
Yeah.
So I came out, and then I'd like dried my hands with toilet paper, and then my friend Hope, I was like, I knew she had wet wipes, so I was like, "Have you got wet wipes?" And she's like, "Yeah." What for? And I was like, I didn't have any water. Like, I don't have any sinks, so I just want to wash my hands. And she was like, okay. So second day into the thing, I then used all of her wet wipes. I was just scrubbing my hands, and then every single time I'd look around, and it stink of shit still. So I was like, fuck. So I was just scrubbing my hands over and over with these wet wipes, just using one after another. And I came back, and I think there was like one or two, and then I gave them back to her, and she's like, what the fuck have you done? Where's the rest? And I was like, I couldn't. It smells of poo still.
Did you explain that you had half the village's shit on your hand?
No, I just said to her, like, it smelled of poo.
It's lucky you didn't kill someone with that, because they would have had clear evidence that you had been holding it. Yeah. That's where the term getting the wrong end of the sticks from.
No, it's not.
It 100% is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Shit sticks?
Yeah, it's from I think Roman times, where they had the stick with the rag on the end.
Oh.
And then you'd get it wet, use that to clean your ass, but if you got the wrong end of the stick, your hand got covered in shit. So no, you got the wrong end of the stick means you've grabbed the shit end of the stick. You've got it wrong in a bad way.
Okay.
90% sure on that. As with all my facts.
Speaking of sticks, leads me on to our next story quite well. So this is on the last, not the last day, but the last camping night in the Atlas Mountains. So we'd reached the peak, and then we found like a place to camp.
Yeah.
And we'd reached the peak and set up camp early, really early. I think we were done by like 1 o'clock. So we were all kind of just hanging out. And then all the other days that we'd been camping, I'd tried to tactically shit in villages. Some villages did have plumbing, so there was some toilets along the way and stuff, and shops. There were shops, little like random shops in the middle of nowhere and stuff like that. But then on this last, it was 1 o'clock, and then we were all like, well, we're going to have to dig a hole in the ground. Well, we dug a hole in the ground every night, but then I think everyone kind of collectively was like, we're going to, because they said we're going to stay here for a bit the next day. I was like, I can't go like longer than 24 hours with shitting. And we all kind of understood each other on that wavelength. So then as a group, we decided to build a little toilet just to waste some time out of sticks. Like, so they dug the hole in the ground, and then we built a toilet seat out of sticks and twigs and bits of wood and loads of tape and rope and shit. And it was a nice group activity. We built this little toilet. And I would say I spearheaded this, and, you know, really.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah. I really like went for this and like tried to make it really good.
Yeah.
And then about 6 o'clock, I go to use the toilet for the first time. It's been used a couple of times already, and I was like, sweet, I'm proud of my invention. And then I sit on it, and
who's left the bloody seat up?
It's sturdy. It's sturdy. So just for context, there's a hole in the ground. It's not like this. We've literally just built a seat to put on the hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So you do just kind of sit like that, like flat, like a right angle. Back up, legs out flat. That's all it is. And then, so I'm sat on it. It's feeling a bit bouncy, but it's okay. And then I'm shitting, and I'm enjoying. I just want to set the scene because it was a truly beautiful scene to take a shit. It wasn't the worst place I've took a shit. So there was like a flat flat stony bit where we'd set camp. There was a row of trees, and then there was just all these hills, and there was two huge mountains either side of the hill. So the place we put the toilet was in the middle of these mountains. So you're in the middle of these two like peaks with all these hills and rolling grasses and stuff, and it was very nice.
Whilst you're making your own peak.
Yes, I was taking a shit and I was just looking around and I was just like, this is nice. And then all of a sudden I just hear like, "Rah! Rah!" And like I jump around like, fuck. And there's like 30 sheep behind me. And then a small boy just going, like obviously thinking, what is he doing? And then I then panic and I'm like, oh shit, there's a kid, fuck. And then in doing this, it goes, and then I'm like, and then my bum falls in this. It doesn't fall all the way, but it like falls in where I'm trapped. And then I'm going, fuck. And there's this kid obviously going, what is he doing? Like just looking at me, and I'm like, fuck, he's still looking. And you know when like a little kid looks at you and they're just like, and you're like, go on, stop looking at me. Like for whatever reason, but they just go, no. And then I was just, and then eventually I got out, stood up, trousers are down, and was like, oh, kid. And then I had to then wipe my ass, holding my penis, stood up, and the kid just still, and then he didn't go until I pulled my trousers up and continued, and then I went back to camp. That's when he was like, I've saw enough, and left the whole time. Like I was wiping my ass, like, look at this kid. Go away.
You don't leave before the encore. That's why.
So that's my
That
story.
is great.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's got to be up there with the most embarrassed I've ever been.
With a child watching
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that is gross.
And awkward. He just wouldn't go. And obviously I didn't know his language, so I was going like, can you go? And he was just like, just didn't say a word. Didn't change his expression, just stared. And so did his 30 sheep.
It's how many sheep there's.
Yep.
That is gross.
There you go.
Well, it's been a lovely time. I'm hoping this has been nice for
This
people.
has been some highbrow entertainment, I think.
Yeah. It's right where we sit in it. It's right on the level.
Yep.
Yeah, right on there.
I'm waiting for you to make a pun to wrap this up.
I wasn't going to.
Okay.
No, I was just going to leave it because I'm that kind of guy.
Okay.
I'm going to try and not do puns as much now.
Okay.
I know you still want me to.
Still waiting.
You're
I'm still
like
waiting.
he's going to do one.
I'm waiting for your brain to figure one out that can bring it around. You're not going to?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just going to leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.